Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 1, The Break-In. Well, this starts off like a horror movie. We see the security camera footage of two guys breaking into Dorit's house. She and the kids were home alone. PK was in London at the time, and we hear a voiceover of Dorit saying, "I thought this was it. I thought I was going to die."
I thought, this is it. This is how I'm going to die.
And we cut to 3 days earlier and we get the, more upbeat music and little snippets of each of the ladies and what's going on kind of at home. I'm going to give you a warning right now that probably the second half of this recap is not going to be funny. There's some more details about the break-in, and it just didn't seem to me that it was appropriate to be doing Dorit's voice, guys, during that part. And also, it's very upsetting. So I will let you know when I'm starting to talk about that stuff. It's the second half of this, and you guys can turn it off if you need to. Okay, first we are at Kyle and Mauricio's house, and they're admiring Paris Hilton's wedding invitation that she sent out. It's, of course, elaborate and beautiful, looks like a little Tiffany box. Rinna pays a visit to Erika at her shitty little home. Will I ever let that go? Maybe. At Crystal's, she's tiger momming her daughter into eating broccoli and doing math at the same time. And Garcelle and Sutton are getting a couples massage in Miami. Garcelle tells her masseuse, "Your hands are incredible. I like it deep and hard." Don't act like you don't know how that sounded. She's like, "What? I meant the massage." Oh, God. And then we see Dorit and her kids at Heathrow Airport. They're on their way back home. Back at Kyle's, she and Portia are in the yard boxing. Not each other, with an instructor. Oh, no, at the end they are boxing each other, actually. Kyle tells us that Portia is in a much better place this year than she was last year. Very similar to Antonia Gorga, right? What Melissa was going through with Antonia. Guys, I did not have a teenager during the pandemic, thankfully, because I think high school kids almost had it the hardest of all. The remote learning, and then there's also all that sort of socialization that happens in high school, that they kind of missed out on. I don't know. It wasn't easy for anybody, but I just think when you're kind of at that age and going through puberty and you're kept isolated, I think that's really tough. Anyway, Antonia's better, Portia's better, thankfully. Okay, so back to Sutton and Garcelle. They are in Miami because Garcelle is speaking at this charity, Angels for Humanity. It's a fundraiser. I think she did this last year. This might have been where she had made some catty remark about, was it Kyle? I think. I can't remember. Anyway, she's thanking Sutton for coming. Then back at the hellhole, Rinna tells Erika that Rinna Beauty's been doing great. Amelia did a campaign with her, and Amelia is moving to New York. Rinna sees this beautiful bouquet of flowers on Erika's shitty countertop, and she said, "Oh, who are those from?" And Erika said, "They're from a secret admirer." Rinna, "Oh, really? Have you gone on dates?" Erika, "No, but I've had some sex, though." Rinna shrieks. She's got her arms in the air. She is thrilled with the fact that Erika's having sex.
Oh, good, because you've never done that.
I think the enthusiasm even scared Erika. Erika's like, "Uh-huh." Rinna goes, "Oh, good, because you've never done that before." What, you mean when she was married? Rinna's like, "That's so exciting. Well, cheers to that, baby." In Erika's confessional, she tells us that she's back in the dating pool, but I'm much more interested in having really good sex with some nice people, and maybe even some not so nice people. Okay. You mean like Tom? So now Rinna has a little something to share. When I saw Sutton on Watch What Happens Live, I was in my bedroom and I was thinking, she looks good. Sutton really looks great. Then she brings up this charity event from a few years ago. I literally was in my bedroom like Teresa. And I was not happy about it. Then we cut to Sutton and Garcelle talking about it. And Sutton goes, I didn't do it with the intention of humiliating her. And Garcelle goes, no, I feel like you were defending me. We get this flashback from last year when Rinna thought that Garcelle should have sent a text thanking her or thanking Harry for the sauce that they gave her. Although she did thank them in person. And Lisa's like, you did. That's right, you did. So what? You just think it should have been in writing. So back to Sutton and Garcelle. It doesn't matter how much the gift is. If it comes from the heart, you don't need a thank you. So back in some shithole neighborhood, Erika, wait, time out. Before I get too many comments about this, if you are new here, I am having fun with the fact that last year, when Erika moved out of her home with Tom and into this, $2 million home with an in-ground pool and a cabana in the back, and she had to start driving this is so embarrassing, a Range Rover. I thought it was hilarious that all the ladies were acting like, oh, poor pitiful Erika. like she had moved into the projects and was driving a used Gremlin. So I have been kind of having fun with that ever since. It's the little things that bring me joy, people. So just let me have this one, okay? Erika says, why would she go on TV and say something like that? Rinna, so she could back her friend and say that she's a good friend, basically. I'm loyal. As a matter of fact, Lisa did X to me. In Rinna's confessional, she goes, it's so hurtful. I would never. You're all about etiquette. Well, bitch, no. Cut to Sutton. I think Lisa will be okay with it. Garcelle's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cut to Rinna. Don't come to me on national television with your fucking bullshit. Erika, you picked the wrong bitch. Oh, yeah, Lisa's fine with it. I mean, honestly, why did she think Lisa would be okay with that? Next, we are at Crystal's house, and Sutton is coming over to see the renovations on her basement, which I don't know how expensive pizza ovens are, but this looks like anybody's rec room. I'm not seeing what's costing $500,000. I'm really not. It almost looks like dark down there. There's a bar, but it's, I don't know. It looks like everybody's finished basement to me. Anyway, can I say that I love that Sutton and Crystal have developed a real friendship. Like outside of Housewives, they went to a baseball game together. They really are hanging out with each other. And they had such a bad beginning that I don't know. It warms my heart. Anyway, Sutton goes, I may have had a little slip up. You know how my mouth is. I just say things. And Crystal's like, yeah, I've had a little experience with that. In her confessional, Crystal said, I might be in a good place with Sutton right now, but that doesn't mean that I don't know when she's being a little cheeky. It's really her way of jabbing at someone a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. When she was on Watch What Happens Live, she didn't care if she got a thank you or not. She said that because Lisa made Garcelle look bad for not thanking her again in a text for Harry's sauce. So Sutton tells Crystal that she is back in the dating pool, not unlike Erika. And Crystal asks her if she wants to be set up. And she said, yes. Do you want to know what my qualifications are? And Crystal nods and she goes, handsome, tall, educated, and likes cats. And Crystal goes, okay. I mean, are there a lot of guys that say, oh, I'm a cat guy? They both start laughing. I am definitely a dog girl. But I've never had a cat, and my husband grew up with cats, and he's allergic to cats. So we'll never get a cat, but also, I know this is overgeneralizing. I just feel like dogs are dumb and friendly, and they just really want to make you happy. And cats barely tolerate your presence. I always get this feeling that they're like, do the bare minimum. feed me and give me a comfy place to sleep, and then just kind of leave me alone. So I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like every time someone said, oh no, I had a cat who did this and that, they were just like a dog, I think to myself, then just get a dog. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you are a cat or a dog person, and then tell me all about how great your pet is. Were they as easy to train as Teresa? That's what I want to know. Okay, the next scene is Garcelle meeting Erika to work out together. In true housewife fashion, the working out was 24 seconds long, and then they sit down to chat. Garcelle said, so are you going to apologize? Erika, to who? Garcelle, Sutton. For what? Garcelle, you threatened her. How? Tell me the words I used. Garcelle, I will come for you. That's a threat. Then we get a flashback to last year at Kathy Hilton's dinner.
Again, I'm coming for you.
Erika goes, yeah, but that could mean anything. Garcelle goes, Erika, like, come on. So Erika says she doesn't really feel like apologizing for not fighting sterile, which to me is a hilarious way of saying that she was fighting dirty. I didn't fight sterile. That was weird. Erika, let me say this about Sutton. She talks a lot of and when you take a swing at people, they're gonna swing back. Okay, that sounded like a threat right there. Erika now talks about how Sutton has spoken repeatedly about things that have been disproven with her case, like there being $20 million in Erika's LLC. Erika, I'll never get away from widows and orphans, but I never saw it. It was never in my account. The bankruptcy trustee said Erika never touched the Lion Air money. Garcelle, oh, okay. In her confessional, Garcelle said, other than Erika saying it's been disproven, I've seen nothing. Not in the paper, not in the blogs, nowhere. Erika, the facts are in my favor. And when people keep saying things. Garcelle, but weren't all the girls saying stuff? Yeah, but she led the charge. Now we get Erika's confessional. You hear the producer's voice. How and when were things disproven? Erika. I don't know. You can look it up. But it was very early on. Bravo can do their due diligence. I don't really know. The producer. Okay, I guess the question is the information available to the public? Erika. Yeah, duh. Tell them to go fucking read everything my lawyers put out. Then they can answer their own fucking questions. Thank you. Okay, what was that? Side note, if I were Erika, I think I would make anything that proves my innocence readily available to the press, to everyone. I'd have it printed on a t-shirt. I would be carrying the documents with me. Is she trying to tell us that with people calling her a monster, and she said, I can't get away from the widows and orphans, that there's documentation proving you have no involvement in taking their money, and you're going to make people dig for it? Why? Back to the gym, Garcelle said, wait, so is everything dismissed? Erika, no, it's not dismissed. But it's just time to kind of smile a little bit and have some fun. Oh boy. Even if everything was dismissed, I'm sorry, I think saying it's time to smile a little bit and have some fun when people have been swindled out of their money on top of suffering a devastating loss is a bit insensitive. Maybe you hold off smiling and having fun until they've gotten their settlement money, at least. She asks her about Tom, and Erika says he's still in a facility. And so they are legally separated, but it's difficult to divorce someone who's been declared incompetent. And she says, anyway, I have much bigger lawsuits to deal with, and she'll get divorced when she can. Okay, next we are at Dorit's house. Jagger and Phoenix are having a little karate lesson in the backyard, and Dorit's watching them. And it's a little bit of a creepy foreshadowing when the instructor is saying, okay, now you got to kick harder, get the bad guy. Keeps talking about the bad guy, and then a couple minutes later Jagger said, I'm going to kick the bad guy over by the pool or something like that. Anyway, Garcelle FaceTimes with Dorit, and she goes inside. She's telling her that I guess they were in London for a wedding. The kids were in the wedding, and PK had work to do. He stayed in London for a few more days, and she and the kids just got home, and they're, jet lagged and everything. And then we are reminded that Garcelle and Dorit were not in the best place last year either. But like Sutton and Crystal, it seems like the two of them have become pretty close, it seems. So she hangs up, and then Phoenix is asking for a popsicle, and she's like, no popsicle before dinner. And then the screen goes dark. Okay, so this is my warning. This is the part where I think the recap is not going to be very lighthearted and fun. I'm just going to be telling you about the events of what happened to Dorit. So if you need to say goodbye at this point, see you next time. Okay, so the screen goes dark, and you see the words, later that night. Now, this is the security footage that we saw at the top of the show. We see her fence and her backyard. Two men appear. They're wearing backpacks, and they have like hoodies, their hoods up, and their faces are covered. And one guy smashes the glass patio door. And this just strikes me that this image that we're seeing, because the glass shatters in the camera angle, it looks like little mirrors or something, and it shatters on this little chalk hopscotch that the kids had drawn on the sidewalk. I don't know, there's just something, the juxtaposition of those two things, just kind of, I don't know, they just kind of get me. Anyway, now we start hearing Dorit's account of what happened. She said they came into her bedroom. They held a gun to her head. She said, I told them, I'll help you find whatever you want. Just please don't hurt me. Don't hurt my kids. They need their mommy. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Just basically pleading for her life. Then we see it's 7:30 in the morning, and you can hear the radio, like a news report of the break-in at Dorit Kemsley's house. It's on the news. Rinna and Erika were there by 8 o'clock in the morning. Rinna said she heard it on the news, and she called Erika, and she's like, I just felt like I needed to go over there. Kyle, same thing. Kyle got there about 8:30. She called PK, and she said he was just sobbing because he wasn't there. Now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Rinna and Crystal are in the car, and they're talking about it. Rinna said the kids didn't hear anything, and they didn't wake up, and they don't know anything about it, which, what a blessing that is, right? Rinna and Crystal are both tearing up. I was when I watched this the first time as well. I get it. And I don't even think you have to be a mom to understand, if you've ever been through anything like that, or somebody that has, you can kind of just, conjure those feelings or imagine yourself in that situation. And it's terrifying. Now we go to Kyle's house, and she's kind of sitting on the couch looking out the window, and she's crying about it. And we see car pull up, and it's Sutton. And so Sutton comes to the door, and she's like, oh no, you're going to make me cry. And I already look like I'm crying because I have allergies. And then she goes, I found this box of cookies in my car. I mean, it was a little weird, but maybe she was trying to cheer Kyle up. I don't know. But Kyle said, oh, this stuff with Dorit. And Sutton said, yeah, it's weird. Okay. Kyle goes, it's terrifying, begging for her life. And then PK was bawling on the phone. And Sutton says, yeah, I've been putting out fires all day too. But, it might just be that kind of day. Kyle, what kind of fires have you been putting out? Sutton, oh gosh, I've got this French designer I'm bringing in, and immigration is just, oh, they're being so hard. Listen, and Kyle goes, that doesn't seem like much of a fire after, like, Dorit. Sutton, well, it is for me and my business. Is she kidding me right now? My sweet, sweet Sutton? What is she doing? Kyle goes, well, I know, I was expecting something more. And Sutton goes, well, everything's relative. I wasn't held at gunpoint. I'm sorry. Wow. She's like, it's been a weird day, weird morning. I'm like flabbergasted at her insensitivity. It's not just that. I find it strange. Like, I'm almost wondering what's going on with her. In Kyle's confessional, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you that wrapped up in yourself that you're not grasping what just happened to our friend? Okay, yeah, let me hear about your problems. So back to Rinna and Crystal. They arrive at a restaurant, and they're talking to an event planner. So it's Harry Hamlin's birthday, and Lisa is planning a party for him, or she was planning a party for him. But she's like, how can I have a party for Harry right now? Also, Harry is turning 70, so it's kind of a big birthday. Lisa's like in shock about how old he is. But as Crystal points out, he looks pretty damn good for his age. So Rinna decides, okay, the priority is Dorit right now. Dorit and PK and the kids. And she's just going to work out the birthday party around them somehow. Crystal's like, yeah, you need to talk to Dorit first about it. Meanwhile, back at Kyle's, Sutton is telling her that Crystal might fix her up with someone. Kyle says, by the way, Erika is starting to date people too, but not through an app, by being set up with people. So I don't know if she was trying to say, yeah, just like you, people are setting Erika. Both of them are starting to date now. So in Sutton's confessional, she said, but unlike Erika, I don't care if they're rich. I have my own money. So our qualifications might be different. So Kyle's like, when I look back at this past year, with all the things that happened, like all of us, like we've all said things. Sutton, no. Kyle stops and she goes, do you even want to hear what I was going to say? And Sutton said, I want to hear, but I just already disagree. And Kyle said, well, I'm saying I do feel bad that I didn't speak up at Kathy's house. We get another little flashback to remind us of what a thug Erika is.
You have a lot of nerve.
Don't talk to me like that.
Or what?
Seriously.
Or what?
Or nothing.
Right, exactly. Shut up.
Or what? I would love to see Erika and Teresa out-threaten each other. Have a threaten off. Which one is scarier? It's tough because Erika obviously is more threatening and scary, but Teresa might actually follow through. That's a bit of a toss-up. Anyway, Kyle says, after the way she was acting, I know that Erika went home and probably cried her eyes out. Sutton, are you kidding me right now? I mean, am I feeling sorry for Erika? No, I'm not defending her, Kyle says. Sutton goes, I get in trouble, but the men don't. And Kyle goes, oh, you mean PK and your husband?
He's not a soccer player. He's a lawyer. Yeah. And the wife goes, no, not the brain. Do the ankle.
And Kyle goes, yeah, she was definitely upset with us. Me and Dorit too. Sutton, oh, was she upset with you, Kyle? Kyle goes, she was. Sutton, I have seen who she is as a person and a friend. If that's who you want to be friends with, I don't care. Next, it is the evening at Kyle's house, and she's having Dorit over to, she thinks Dorit should be around friends. So Erika is the first one to arrive. And things are a little awkward between them because, as Kyle said, she was mad at her too at the reunion. But Erika said, this is about Dorit tonight. And, they hug and they're fine. Then Mauricio walks in and Erika says, you hurt my feelings.
Hi.
You hurt my feelings, Mauricio.
I'm so sorry to
You
hear that.
hurt my
I would never want to hurt your feelings.
The night with PK.
And gives him a hug. Jeez. We really need to do better as women. We make it far too easy for men, and we hold women to a much higher standard. Women have to be much more accountable to each other than men do. And, that needs to change. Anyway, they chalk it up to a shitty year. Then Rinna walks in, and they talk about Dorit for a minute. So Dorit walks in. Hello, my love bugs. And everyone gives her a hug. And let me just say this, because some people online think that she staged this break-in. No way. No way. And I will just say this. She has zero makeup on right now. If this was staged, that would not be happening. I'm kidding. It's absurd to think that this was staged. It's such a horrific thing. Anyway, she starts to kind of retell the story that she told the girls that morning. Kyle's like, Mauricio didn't hear the story. And so she said, well, whenever PK isn't home, the kids sleep in bed with me. So I had put Phoenix in my bed. And I was just so jet lagged and so tired that I thought, I need a good night's sleep. So she picked her up and she put her in her own bed. This just gives me chills because it is like a series of events that just worked out in the right way to have the best outcome possible. Anyway, so she said she washed her face, brushed her teeth, and then she kind of grabbed a pillow, got in bed, and she was just finally kind of relaxing, and she heard her bedroom door open, and she thought it was one of the kids, obviously. But instead of a little person, shadow, it was a big person. And I guess she got out of bed and she said, I startled him. And so he came charging toward me. Side note, the reaction shots of everybody. Oh my God. And he kind of just wrestled her to the ground and he was screaming at her, get down, get on the fucking ground now. I'm gonna kill you. And he was pushing his gun against her head. She said she was hunched over and she was sobbing and begging, please, I'm a mother. Please don't hurt me. Please, my kids need their mommy. Please. Then the other guy walks in and he says, just kill her. Just fucking kill her. So then they wanted her to show them where everything was. Where are the watches? Where's the jewelry? And she said, okay, just please don't hurt my babies. They need their mommy. Please don't hurt them. And Dorit said, I thought, this is it. I'm going to die. He's going to pull the trigger. And then I envisioned him killing me and then going and killing the kids. Kyle is a mess. She's like, no, don't say that. Dorit says she has to figure out how to try and get over it. And Erika's like, you need to go to therapy right away. Then the dogs start barking like crazy and Dorit freaks. She's like, Kyle, go see what's happening, please. I'm begging you, please. And Kyle's like, calm down, calm down. It's okay. We have security. And the dogs do that all the time. So it turned out to be Garcelle. But she's like, she's like, I never heard your dogs bark like that. She is like a trauma victim at this point, right? She's still in that mode. So anyway, Garcelle comes in, they hug, and Garcelle's like, I was just talking to you on the phone. The kids were doing karate in the yard. It was just seemed like such a normal day. And Dorit goes, 5 hours after I spoke to you. And she said, I didn't post anything. I didn't post any pictures. And Mauricio said, they thought no one was home. Erika, yeah, Garcelle. And they had a gun to her head. Jeez, okay, thanks for that. Dorit said the one guy was holding her in front of him, saying, don't look, don't turn around, don't look. And she said, I won't. And then after 20 minutes of this, she said, listen, guys, you got a lot. Why don't you get out now while you can? Then she said, please don't take my cell phone. And he said, count to 40 and I'll leave your phone by the gate. And he did.
And he left.
Wow. And he did.
I will always thank God.
She called 911 and it was 4:00 when the police got there. Okay, now PK called and I guess he just landed in LA. So he's on his way over to Kyle's house. You hear the dogs barking again when he gets there. And Kyle said, it's just PK, honey. So he walked in and they hugged. I have just a slight minor issue with them seeing each other for the first time after this on camera. It just bothers me. It feels exploitative. But also, on the other hand, I feel like whatever they want, they could do whatever they want. There's no rule book for this. They've both been through something traumatic. If this is how they're doing it, I don't care. So anyway, they say hello and hug, and she's like, we're fine. We're all fine. And he, kisses and says hello to all the ladies, and then he breaks down. Oh, he's like, I can't stand that I wasn't there. And then Kyle says, but you know what, PK? I have a feeling it's probably better that you weren't. And she's right. Could you imagine if he was home? Like I said, I feel like the circumstances of everything that happened in just exactly the right way for this to have gone down without anybody being hurt. If the man of the house was home, I don't know, guys. I don't know that someone wouldn't have been shot. Like if those guys felt threatened in any way, but no, they just have like Dorit and she's tiny and I don't know. I don't know. And I could also empathize with what's going on with PK is he's just, your mind goes to what could have happened. Oh my God, we were this close to, he could have killed her. He could have killed the kids. You know what I mean? And the ladies are like, no, don't. Garcelle said, don't, we're not even going to go there. Don't go there. And, it's hard not to, but you can't drive yourself crazy like that. So then Rinna says, can I say something, guys? I feel bad about Harry's party. Oh, God. Really? Now? This is the time? But right away, PK said, no, listen. In my religion, you never cancel a happy occasion for a sad one. And Rinna's like, are you sure? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So Dorit and PK say their goodbyes and they leave. And I don't even think I would want to go back to that house. But anyway, they're going home and he's like, she's going to be fine. I'm here now. And then this part is, it would be comical if it wasn't still just like so tragic. But he's like, I have to find my phone and my AirPods. I left my phone. He must have left them in Kyle's house. So he goes back into the house to find his phone and his AirPods. And Dorit sits down on the bench outside and she's just crying and like consoling herself. She's just kind of like, I'm okay. Oh, I feel like it's the first time that like she's letting herself break down too. Because she's had to be so strong until PK got there. She's mama bear, she's the protector. She's got to think on her feet. She's got to keep her baby safe and she can't break down. She doesn't want them to see her breaking down. She doesn't want the kids to see that she's breaking down. So she had to like hold it together for so long that I think now that PK's there, she's just kind of letting herself feel her feelings and break down, I get it. Anyway, that was episode 1. I'm sorry, you guys, that was not the most fun. But I will say this, if previews for the upcoming season are any indicator, there are going to be plenty of things to make fun of this season. There's a lot going on, and yeah. So if you liked this recap, I don't know, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I will see you guys with hopefully a funnier version next week of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. See you then. Bye.